night on Friday.
Never anything to do.
Oh, mystery date.
But at least we have mystery date game.
And snacks.
Yeah, they're delicious.
I think
Okay,
it's your turn.
It's my turn?
Yeah.
Okay, ready? Here we go. Who's my date?
Let's see.
Let's see.
Mystery
Who's the
date.
mystery date?
I'm ready for you. It's Jellyfish!
1, 2, 3, 4.
That was Las Leos with the Imperial Drag Classic Zodiac sign. And I have with me one member of Las Leos. We have Suzanne Riggs. Hello.
Hi. Hey, everybody.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. In Florida, it's nice and hot.
Oh, yeah, it's about as hot as it's... I'm going to allow it to get here before I just completely just die in the heat. I don't know how you cope with all of that.
Yeah, it's pretty swampy.
You do have a thing called air conditioning, though, which really helps. Yes, which we very much need for maybe like 2 weeks a year, and then then we'll just turn it off for the rest of the year. But yeah, a great choice of a song as well, and thank you for going slightly off the beaten track. Because there's lots of Jellyfish songs. We do have another Imperial Drag song in the set as well. So what led you to want to do Zodiac sign?
Well, we had a couple other ones picked out, but we picked Imperial Drag or the Umajets. And it came down to kind of what our ability was to kind of whip it together kind of fast. And we thought, well, if we did that, gave it kind of like we went through it a couple of times. We put like a Kinks twist on it one of the times, but that ended up not sounding right. So we just gave it like a bluesy kind of PJ Harvey treatment to it.
Yeah, it really works. I love what you've done with it. I love the start of the video as well. It's very in the spirit of Jellyfish, I think.
Yeah, we tried to have a little nod to Jellyfish with the cereal and the 70s games and stuff. So
is that just? I like to think that is just your life generally, though. That you get your friends around and play all those old games from the 70s, and
yeah, that's what we do. None of us work. We just sit around and play with games all day long and pretend we're in bands.
So did you get to see Imperial Drag back in the day? I mean, was there a specific connection that you had to Imperial Drag and Umajets that made you go there instead of a Jellyfish song?
Well, most of the Jellyfish songs I was interested in were already taken. So
that'll do it.
I was a little late to the party on this. So Dana and I both saw Imperial Drag on that tour back then in the 90s.
Uh-huh.
And so and then I think I told you earlier that her ex produced the second Umajets album in Atlanta. So we kind of had a tie to that, so we're like, well, we went through a couple Umajets stuff and we're just like, oh, I don't know. It doesn't have the spirit of the song, so we just went back to Imperial Drag and listened to some stuff. And then we're like, okay, let's pick this. We almost did Boy or a Girl though.
Nice. Are you more of a punk at heart then? Is that why you went with the sort of thrashy, down and dirty sort of arrangement of Zodiac Sign over something more melodic like a Umajet song,
Yeah, I think that's why. And Dana and I both play in a band currently, and it's more of a it has some 60s elements to it, So we kind of just decided to take it to that, that style.
Yeah, and it works brilliantly. So Leos, I should pronounce that correctly. So I'm guessing, you said before you are both Leos, but it also came from another area of the Jellyfish canon, I guess. Right.
We just picked that name for our pretend band name for this project, but it's not the name of our band, but yeah.
And you mentioned that it, partly in reference to the Alpaca's Ogling album as well, which is
right.
Highly underrated album. And
I love that album.
I've said on other interviews that it was that album and Land of Pure Imagination that my boss brought into work one day, and that was my first ever exposure. Because he bought the LEO album for the 2 lines that Andy Sturmer sings, and I was like, "What? Yeah. You spent £25 on that? You're mad!" And then obviously since then, I totally understand. And that's getting a re-release because they brought it out again not long ago. And now they're bringing it out again with a bonus disc, and it's going to cover a lot of tracks from Blue's back catalogue, which is going to be hopefully a really nice introduction to a lot of Blues work through that.
Is it going to be released on vinyl with a CD, or is it just a 2 CD set?
I wish. I think it's just going to be CD. If one album needs to come out on vinyl, I think it's that Alpaca's Ogling album. You know where the name came from?
No.
Extreme?
Yes.
Well, Blue is really good friends with Pat Badger, and when Blue moved to Boston, because Pat owns an alpaca farm, and he stayed with him on that farm, and that's where the name comes from, as a tribute to his early career as a musician.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So with the Imperial Drag album, then with Jellyfish. Would it have been expected to maybe dress a certain way to go to a Jellyfish gig than you did end up dressing to go to an Imperial Drag gig? What kind of duds did you have on? Was it did you have the flares?
No, I didn't have the flares, but I definitely probably had some velvet crazy jester hat on. I probably had some striped leggings, probably a striped shirt under a shirt. It was all about the layers, and kind of like a mashup of the Partridge Family meets, I don't know, Black Sabbath look, kind of just like I had a lot of hair at the time, really long, and yeah.
I totally understand that. Well, that's the thing. Another thing about getting into Jellyfish, my hair was always short, and I decided to grow it long after that.
My hair was super long back then. I worked in an indie store at the time, so we all had that look. So.
Oh, that's just tugs on my 90s heartstrings. I just wish I could.
Yeah.
Wish I could just wrap myself up in 90s nostalgia. I mean, I pretty much do that anyway. But so as a guitar player and a singer, so how far does that go back with you? What were your early influences?
Of music in general.
Yeah. And then what made you want to, pick up the guitar and start singing?
As a child, I played keyboards because my parents wouldn't let me get a guitar because I think they thought that would lead to drugs. And people that play keyboards don't do drugs. So it's kind of like the nerd instrument. So then, I played keyboards for a while, and then I just stopped. Music wasn't, other than me listening to music, I didn't play music until probably in, early 90s. And I picked up the bass for a while, and then I bought a guitar, and then that was that. So, and then that kind of took like a backseat for a hot minute. And then I got back into it and had a couple bands I was in for a while, and, some punk stuff and shoegaze and other kinds of like just rock and roll stuff. We try to get girl bands, but it's really hard to find everybody that could play an instrument, down here at least. So,
sorry.
That's okay. What?
Well, I was going to say, was it also hard to find people with similar taste in music? Because I find that to be hard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard to find that. But you think, well, maybe they'll, if we have a couple of sessions playing together, they'll, see what we see in it, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, so.
So at what point did you start writing music as well? Was that as soon as you picked up the guitar, or was there a particular influence that made you want to write?
Well, I don't really write as much as Dana. In fact, I probably haven't written anything in a long time, but she's more of a writer. And the guy that drums in our band, he's the primary writer for the group. So I just I could come up with riffs and put them into a song, but I don't really write a whole song, or do I write the lyrics? But I've always been a fan of whoever can do that. It's quite an art.
But also writing riffs, I mean, if you're the impetus for the song with a riff that you've maybe brought in, or if the writer is like, it just needs something extra, then, being the riff lady, as I will call you.
That's how it goes. Usually I can come up with a riff and then I'll bring it into practice, and they'll be like, oh my God, that's so crazy, because I was working on something that had that same kind of vibe. And so then we just kind of piece it together until we find something that works, Wow,
it's a beautiful thing to have that kind of synergy. I'm very jealous.
Yeah,
I rarely find that. Yeah.
The band I'm in now, the three of the people, we've been in every band together with other people, but it's like we have a core because, we like the same stuff.
And what is the name of your current band, and where can people find you?
Oh, it's the Bad Vibrations. And we have Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook.
Excellent. So were you gigging around a lot before the pandemic hit?
Oh, yeah. We just recorded 4 songs. We're getting ready to release one on vinyl. And then the pandemic happened. So everything took a back seat. And then we put out the 7-inch in the middle of the pandemic. But we were hoping to tour and do little, things here and there. And none of that happened, So we're trying to get the momentum going again.
Yeah, especially, and you have a release coming up, or?
Yes, we do. And we want to go back in and record some more. But yeah, we have another single that's coming out.
Nice. I'm guessing, have you been sat on these songs for a little while because of the pandemic? And
yeah, kind of, like I said, we recorded them all right probably 4 months before it hit. And so we already had wheels in motion for which one was going to be the first song. And it was a small label, a local label and distributor that we're putting it out through. And we do have a couple newer songs we're working on now that we're going to, go in and record. Because we like to, while we're in the middle of it, we like to record while we have the kind of the spirit of it, and then go through and mix it and stuff.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, I mean, obviously, as with everyone who has been involved in the page, we, obviously want you to share your music with us as well. Because, it's the least I can do as a thank you to, coming forward and wanting to be a part of Jellyfest as well, because these songs ain't easy at all. And I mean, it's a testament. And I'm not doing any songs for this, and I probably could have, but I decided not to, because you see my face enough on this. Like, everyone will be hating me by the end of this, the amount of times that I show up. But but when did you discover, because we're celebrating 10 years of the page, when did you discover the page in particular? And did you, hopefully you've enjoyed being a part of the page, hopefully.
Oh yeah, I have. And I have to say this back, talking about all the musicians on that page. I've listened to some of the stuff that people have posted of their bands. There's a lot of talent out there. I can't believe I was like, oh man, I wish those bands were around here. There's so many good bands. But the Jellyfish page, honestly, I might have joined it within the last year. I don't know how I stumbled upon it. I'm friends with members on their other pages, and then something came up, maybe somebody shared something. I'm like, oh duh, of course there's probably a fan page, so yeah, so I'm kind of just I'm a newbie.
Well, we're very glad to have you be a part of it. And like I say as well, anyone who stepped forward to want to take part in Jellyfest and put up with my erratic timekeeping and everything else, because this is about the fourth time I've said, are you free today? And you're never free because you're really busy, and I totally understand that. And I'm understanding that more and more as time goes on, and this is why I barely know what day it is myself. So I really want to thank you for being a part of...
Thank you.
Yeah, well, and looking forward to hearing more from you as well. And people need to go back and watch. Like, I love the fun that you have on the video for Zodiac sign. It's really...
Oh yeah, we had a lot of fun, and my husband had a good time filming it. We were laughing. I'm not going to say there wasn't some alcohol involved.
See, that's the thing. I should have brought some alcohol with me.
Yeah, there might have been some wine.
So, well, look, I want to thank you again. And yeah, please do check out Suzanne's music on Instagram and Facebook. Link will be put below, as you mentioned it and everything. And I want to thank everyone for continuing to tune into Jellyfest. So keep them peeled for what is coming up.
All right. Thanks. Bye.